Hey there! Today I want to go over 5 quick tips to help you get an advantage or to avoid making a major mistake before the game even begins. My name is Nate, and welcome to the Gamers Guild. At first glance, most miniature games, the fun and interactions are all had when the models are moving and the dice are rolling. However, a large chunk of this and several other games is also focused on what happens before turn 1 even begins. And because of the additional list building opportunities that Marvel Crisis Protocol presents, I think it is important to go over a few tips to get your game plan started out correctly. The first step in this process is the actual building of the roster, and while that does seem obvious, some of the finer points may not always be. The main things I would recommend is deciding on an affiliation you like, and from there, make sure that every possible threat level we have on Crisis cards is one that you can build a team of that affiliation for the missions. So make sure you have a team that you like at the 15, 17, and 20 threat levels for now. And as we get more cards, those numbers are going to spread out as we're about to get a new 18 threat one with Thor's release. Honestly, there could be a series of hours of discussion on some of the more intricate parts of building your team of characters, but for this video of quick tips, making sure that you're able to have your affiliation bonus at any threat level is one thing to make sure of. For number 2, I have some advice that it seems several people are already on board with, and that is bringing Brace for Impact. While it may not always make it to the 5 cards you bring into the game, it is a safe bet that it should make your roster of 18 tactic cards right now. Brace for Impact is nothing flashy, however it has the most potential of damage reduction to power cost ratio of any ability or other tactic card in the game. At the very least, it can be used as a 1 power to avoid 1 point of collision damage after a character is thrown, which is otherwise unavoidable, which is strong in itself. The other crazy part of this is it's the same rate of healing from Patch Up or Extremis consoles for 1 power for 1 damage. The crazy upside is having an automatic save from up to 5 damage from an object or character of size 4 being thrown for just 1 power. And now with Thor, another character who can throw size 4 pieces of terrain, and the release of the Dumpster Truck, the first official size 4 piece of terrain, I think this is only getting more valuable to have. So unless you have a really strong case not to bring it, just bring it. For number 3, I feel like it is worth mentioning the value of bringing characters that have easy ways to push, throw, or advance your opponent's models. Whether this is Spider-Man and Venom giving a good pull with a web snare, MODOK or Loki using the Mind Stone to advance an enemy model, or the outright throws and pushes that can be done with some Wakandan tech or the beefier characters. The obvious part of the upside here is being able to push-pull your opponents off the objectives. The other use that frustrates me to no end is the losing of synergies that I love as an Avengers player. Spider-Man pulling Captain America out of bodyguard range is extremely annoying, especially if Cap has already activated that turn. Or maybe pushing Zemo off to the side so no one can benefit from his rerolls. While playing the objectives is obviously a strong play with all of these abilities, being able to blow up synergies is also very useful. My 4th tip is for the very beginning of a game. Before you roll for priority or anything else, know what your opponent is bringing to the game. Everything is known between the 2 players and their rosters, so openly share what you are bringing and ask what they are. This can let you gather information about Crisis cards that they brought, which affiliation they may be trying to bring, and a whole lot more. Again, there could be a solid couple of hours of discussion on what to be looking for in your opponent's list, but the main thing that I encourage looking for is at what objectives they are bringing. If you see that their extraction objectives are ones that you don't like to play or that your team isn't great at playing, you know that if you win priority, you can pick the extraction cards from your deck instead of theirs. Worst case, when you're picking from your objectives, you know what the other half of the crisis could be and you can plan around that. From here you can also begin to pick up on other things that might be helpful, like if you see a Hulk and some Hulk tactic cards, make sure to bring a character that can deal with them like Killmonger, Venom, or another strong damage dealer. My last tip, though, comes to when you are setting up your own characters. And this bit of advice might be the most important if you haven't been doing this already. When you're taking alternating activations, make sure that you are counterplacing your characters. What I mean by this is for you to line up characters who are good at dealing a type of damage against characters who are weak against that type of damage. So if I see my opponent set up Venom or Crossbones, directly across the table I want to set up Captain Marvel or Ultron. If I see my opponent set up Captain Marvel, I want to avoid giving her the opportunity to use her energy absorption. So I put a character down like Zemo across the board from her who can charge in and get the work done. And do the opposite of this as well. If my opponent has set up MODOK in one corner, Black Panther and Captain America are probably going on the other side of the board because they want no part of any mystical attacks. You can also take into consideration tactic cards at this point. For example, if you have brought Killmonger with Usurp the Throne, make sure Killmonger gets deployed directly across from your opponent's highest threat character so that he has a straight path to take them down. Those were my 5 tips for things you can always do to make sure you're getting a strong start. However, I am only one of thousands of people playing this game and who have opinions on good strategies and thoughts. So this next Tuesday, I am releasing my first Tactic Talk Tuesday video. This will be a series of videos featuring other Crisis Protocol players that will share their thoughts on different topics like building your roster, how to pick the right Crisis cards for your team, and what tactic cards are worth bringing. So if you enjoyed this video, or if you hated it and wanted to hear some other options and opinions, keep an eye out next Tuesday. I'm going to be joined by Will from House Party Protocol and Brian from Mini Fights. If you want to be notified about these or any other videos that I am putting out, hit that subscribe button, but most importantly, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.